members of Trumpworld are getting a little bit nervous that they might be next, specifically in getting raided by the FBI. On Thursday, federal investigators armed with a warrant had confiscated cell phones and computers belonging to Rudy Giuliani as part of an investigation into his dealings with Ukraine. That stunned a Trump associate, and they called this entire thing, quote, overkill. Interesting. Now, this article has a whole bunch of quotes from different people inside of Trump's orbit. And in fact, one former advisor who wished to remain anonymous told CNN that this raid was a show of force that sent a strong message to a lot of people in Trump's world that other things may be coming down the pipeline. So now, again, this is the interpretation. But generally, when you see people getting nervous that something is going to happen to them as a result of Rudy Giuliani and his laptops, electronics being seized, well, it's got to make you wonder, wait, what did you do? What did you do? Why are you nervous? Again, conservatives always say, well, if you have nothing to hide, why are you nervous, right? Good question. Good question. And so, according to the report from CNN's Gabby Orr, quoting ex-Trump officials, the raid ignited a sense of fear inside the former president's orbit that the Justice Department officials may be more willing to pursue investigations of the 45th president or his inner circle that many Trump allies had previously believed. Well, look, to be fair, I think that they believed that they would have won, that they were going to win. Okay. So they're going to win the election and then go on to have Republican rule, going from Donald Trump in 2024 to Donald Trump Jr. or Ivanka in 2028, Barron Trump in like 2064. So they really, I mean, it feels like they're disconnected from reality. And now that they're out of power, now they're worried because it turns out the Department of Justice might actually be doing its job and going after, certain types of corruption, which is a surprise because normally, even under, Democratic and Republican administrations, they don't tend to really go all that hard, especially against former presidents. So it's a bit unprecedented. So now, two other people close to the former president echoed these sentiments, declined to be quoted for the story. But again, it kind of shows you how widespread it is. Former Trump officials worried that Giuliani could implicate Trump or their administration officials as part of a possible plea deal. But one Trump insider saying even the most loyal people have their breaking point. Before adding, it wouldn't shock me at all if the former U.S. attorney flipped on the ex-president. Another added, I think we've seen some more surprising instances of things like that happening, especially with Michael Cohen. As for Cohen, of course, on Saturday morning, he told an embassy host that Giuliani's phones and computers could contain a treasure trove of information that could be used to pursue former Attorney General William Barr, Donald Trump Jr., Jared Kushner. Interesting. Very interesting. Now, I'm not aware of any investigations into those three individuals, but if there is information that could implicate them in a crime, well, then I would hope that they would go after them as well. However, right now, as far as Trump is concerned, New York State Attorney General Letitia James is conducting a civil probe into allegations that Donald Trump had done tax fraud, inflated and deflated the value of his properties in order to, like inflating the value, for example, to get bigger loans and deflating the value of his assets in order to pay less in taxes. So that, of course, is tax fraud, and we should take that seriously. In fact, documents leaked by Mary Trump did show a pattern of the Trump family engaging in these tax fraud tricks, which is completely consistent with somebody like Donald Trump doing everything he can to stop, to basically avoid paying things that he owes. Okay, so there's that. It's almost as if Trump has a long history of stiffing people that he owes money to. I know, very, very strange. And the reason, of course, is that he's not rich. He's a terrible businessman. He's a con man. And everybody around him, I think, knows it. And everybody around him, I think most people knew that and tried to take advantage of the fact that he's not a very smart person. and that they can make a lot of money getting into such a corrupt administration. Um, make a make a couple of bucks for themselves. Maybe do a book deal, as a lot of them are doing now. And would you look at that? It turns out there are consequences. I have often criticized new administrations, by the way, for looking forward and not backwards when it comes to holding previous administrations accountable for doing actual crime. Um, Obama with Bush, for example, that thing pissed me off the most. So Obama, looking at a war criminal, said, "Oh, let's not worry about it. I look forward, not backwards." Okay. Well, that is because Bush is a war criminal, and if we went after one war criminal, we'd have to go after all of them. And so that is something that America doesn't do. Let's be fair about that. But aside from being a regular old war criminal, like pretty much every president has been, well, Donald Trump's also a normal criminal, and therefore he might actually be held accountable for the other stuff. I mean, I'd love to see it, not just, of course, in New York, but I would actually like to see the Justice Department going after Trump and his allies for example, breaking emoluments, abuse of power, corruption, Hatch Act violations, and who knows what else. It would be a small measure of accountability, but at this point, I'd take it. We got to take the W's where we can, man. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.